I'm pretty sure Dr. Jen Welter did not vote for me, but we are so happy to have her on the show right now. Dr. Jen, a little background for our viewers. You were the first woman ever to be hired on an NFL coaching staff, and Bruce Arians did that back when in Arizona. Let's start there. How thankful are you for Bruce Arians, and especially when you look and see in this Super Bowl, there's so much history being made, but 2 women coaches on the Tampa Bay staff. He's got 3 coordinators that are African American. How much of a thanks and shout out should Bruce Arians get for this Super Bowl?
I think Bruce Arians is the champion for diversity in this league. He's leading the way. And all of the women who are now getting opportunities should really look to Bruce Arians and the bravery and, the stance that he took in bringing in the first woman, and that he stays consistent in doing it. So to me, he's a hero for all women, and what allyship can look like, right? Both in football and in our society as well.
And we're going to see Sarah Thomas, the first woman ever to officiate in a Super Bowl. How big of a moment is that? And when you heard that news, I'm guessing you were kind of happy.
Well, thankfully, Sarah is a dear friend. Obviously, we met her first game and mine. We're both at University of Phoenix Field, and we shook hands that day, and it solidified a friendship. And so before it was announced, she texted me and said, "Hey, sis, I need you to hear this from me first. I'm going to be reffing the Super Bowl, and I'll think of you while I'm doing it." And I had like tears of joy, and I had to hold the news until everybody else announced it, and then I could tweet about it. But just knowing her and her heart and her dedication to her craft, that blonde ponytail of hers is going to make a big statement to both women and men watching the game that day.
And I think you've really arrived as an official when both head coaches yell at you and tell you that was a horrible call throughout the game. But last year we saw Katie Sowers, the first female assistant in a Super Bowl. And I think once those small steps are taken by people like you and the ladies we've been talking about, that's when it becomes more of the norm, as it should be, because I've been covering the NFL for 25 years, and I see just as many little girls, female fans, love the game. So why shouldn't they be taking part in all aspects of the sport as well?
That's right. And, one of the big things that happened this year is the NAIA announced that they're going to have the first varsity girls collegiate flag football season. What does that mean? Now females can change the trajectory of their life and their education through playing football. So you're going to see girls across the country and the world getting in earlier, playing more often, and following the game with the same passion, love, and dedication that the guys do. And that means that we're just going to continue to see women making strides in all levels of football.
You're a trailblazer. You've been the first. How difficult is it to walk in those shoes?
I think the interesting part about it is that you have to realize the narrative isn't your own. You guys know this. When I was with Arizona, the conversation was, could a woman coach guys in the National Football League? It wasn't my name. It was a sample size of one, right? And the good thing is, when you are the first, the opportunity and responsibility is to ensure that you're not the last. And every time you check one of those boxes up, it opens hearts, minds, and open doors. And we will continue to see these women making strides because their love and passion is unparalleled. And you do know that you're there representing all of the women, like, for example, that I played with, that Katie played with, that Callie Brunson played with, Jennifer King played with, all of these women who came from the trenches of playing women's football. You know that you're there for all of your sisters in the game and all of them that will come.
And over on the NBA side, we see Becky Hammon, who got to fill in when Popovich got run from a game with the Spurs. She's even getting a look for some of these head coaching jobs, and she said the same thing as you. Let's get there, and then it won't be some of this, let's not be the first and only. Let's be the first and many more to come. But one thing I think that's really upset me for years is when the females beat me in fantasy football each and every year. So it's not just, oh, this is cute. This is a real deal. And as you said, people like you entrenched from an early age at the game of football and really love the sport.
That's right. And, I always say football is full contact chess. And you know, women love the strategy. We love the behind the scenes. So you better watch out, because they start realizing that it's full contact chess. There's going to be more and more women in all aspects, whether it's fantasy, coaching, refereeing, playing. That secret is still percolating, but you're just going to see more and more women get involved when they really start to get that full contact chess. I'm telling you, that's the key. You hear that and the women are like, wait a minute. Okay. All right.
The secret is out. You've blown it now.
Yeah.
You've blown it.
It'll take somebody with a vision and courage to do like you were the first. Where do you see, what in a perfect world, 10, 15 years from now, do you see a woman wearing a white hat in the Super Bowl? Do you see a woman as a head coach in the Super Bowl?
Well, first, I see opportunities for women to play at every level, right? And to, truly be able to get paid as pros, to be able to have collegiate careers as pros, and to follow the coaching ranks all the way up. I think you will absolutely see a woman as a head coach, and you will absolutely see, whether it's Sarah or someone else, continuing to lead in the refereeing, right? The most important thing is that you have great quality people at every level, and that there's organizational support, right? Because if you're going to have a woman as a head coach, for example, you have to have buy-in and commitment from the organization. So she's not just there, she's there to succeed.
And that's the key, too, is when you think about these people that are the first at something, not only are they doing their best to prove themselves, they have to prove it almost unfairly for the entire gender, because you can't drop the ball literally or figuratively, because that might close the door for folks behind you.
That's right. And that's really where the pressure comes in, is because you are a representative by virtue of just the scarcity, right? Like, if they have never seen another woman before, then you are kind of what's defining women in that space. And so it's really great to have, women like Katie, women like Sarah, women like Jennifer King, women like Callie Brunson being those women, because they are top quality women.
So that being said, how much pressure will Sarah feel walking onto that field on Sunday when 100 million people are watching?
Well, I hope that what she does is really feel the confidence of knowing that she has worked her way up, and knowing that she is supported and loved by so many of us. It's obviously pressure, but the way any of us deal with big pressure moments is to focus what's in our control. Can't control the refs. You can't control the 130 million people. What you can control is micro focus on what it means to be great in your job. And the more she can stay focused in each moment, in each play, the better off she'll be. And there's not a better woman to carry that responsibility than Sarah.
It's all about the Sarahs this season. What about Sarah Fuller down there at Vanderbilt, going out there, knocking home some extra points, and the way she was received, not only by the team, but nationwide as well?
Absolutely. She literally kicked down a door, and she was there, because of the women who have come before her, right? Of Becca Longo, who was the first female to earn a college scholarship as a kicker, because of Kate Hindy, because of Julie Harshberger. These women who have been building and have been supporting the game, so that when Sarah got her opportunity, it wasn't so rare, right? We've seen it before. She stepped in a time when her team needed her, and she did the job, and people were ready for it because there were, strong shoulders that she was propped up on.
And I know there's another set of shoulders that's very responsible for this moment. Dot, we talked about her in a conversation we had a while ago. Can you share with our viewers that tangled web she weaves in this whole story?
I sure can. So I like to say she's kind of the hidden figure, or the connective tissue of Sarah Thomas, myself, and the women in football now. When I first met Bruce Arians, he said that when he was coaching in college, he met one of the best coaches he'd ever been around, who was a receivers coach at Hines College, and her name was Dot Murphy. And he said, the fact that it hasn't changed in all this time, like, I really feel like we could do something about this. But, her being so good at her job primed, left an impression on Bruce Arians so that when he met me, he was ready to be a catalyst for change. And when I told that story on a radio interview, I got a call from Sarah, like right after I hung up. And I was like, hey, what's up? And she's like, did you see Dot Murphy? And I was like, yeah. And she said, there's only one Dot Murphy. And Dot Murphy had, played on a team where her aunt had coached. So Sarah grew up with Dot Murphy. And we have lovingly said that, our paths were intertwined since we met. And we realized in that moment that our paths and our destinies had been tied for years and years before that, by Dot Murphy leading the way in basketball and then in football.
Well,
great. We'll end on that. Dr. Jen, there's only one Dr. Jen Welter, a trailblazer. Thanks for joining us. I know she's writing children's books now. Speaking, just COVID, hopefully COVID goes away and we can get you back out on the circuit and see you here on Radio Row next year.
Absolutely, guys. I miss it, but I appreciate you having me on. I feel like the Super Bowl came home to Florida and we're not even getting to give it that full Florida welcome that we love football so much. I think they're going to have to bring the Super Bowl back here. That's all I'm just putting it out there.
A little pitch there, a little pitch.